critically examine the concept of geomorphological cycle and discuss the views of W. Davis and Peng. Besides, based on the inheritance of James Hutton concept of the cyclic nature of the Earth's history and the evolutionary concept of Charles Darwin, W. M. Davis presented his concept of geographical cycle of erosion in 1899. This was based on the basic concept of sequential change in landforms through time, like the evolution of an organic life. According to Davis, landforms undergo sequential changes through time, passing through three stages of youth, mature, and old. Two types of forces identified in affecting these changes are endogenetic and exogenetic forces. The interplay of these forces ultimately bring down the relief to a low featureless plane called peneplain. Davis was the first geomorphologist to present a general theory of landmass development. The basic goal of his model was to provide a basis for systematic description and genetic classification of landforms. According to the theory of Davis, structure involves rock in resistance to weathering and erosion, and weather strata, rock layers have been deformed into relief elements. Areas of variable elements elevation like fault blocks or faults processes, landforming processes including weathering as well as erosion and deposition by such agents as gravity and streams. Stage youth, maturity, and old stage constitute the principal stage of development, an indication of how long the process have been acting. The various assumptions that the landforms are evolved product of interaction of endogenetic and exogenetic forces. The evolution of landmass takes place in an orderly manner. The streams erode their valleys rapidly downwards, and until the graded conditions is achieved, there is short period of rapid rate of upliftment in the landmass. Erosion does not start unless the upliftment is complete. He explained that the cycle begins with the uplift of mountains. Rivers and streams begin to create V-shaped valleys among the mountains. The stage is called youth. During this first stage, the relief is steepest and most irregular. Over the time, the streams are able to curve middle valleys, maturity, and then begin to meander, leaving only gently rolling hills, old age. Finally, all that is left is a flat, level plain at the lowest elevation possible, called the base level. This plain was called by Davis a peneplain, which means almost a plane, for a plane is actually a complete flat surface. Then rejuvenation occurs and there is another uplift of mountains, and the cycle continues. The Davisian model has been criticized as its concept of upliftment is not acceptable. Davis' concept of relationship between the upliftment and the erosion is erroneous. The Davisian model requires a long period of crustal stability for its cycle, but such eventless long period is technically not possible. Davis is also criticized for his over emphasis on time. The Davis theory is not entirely accurate. It was quite revolutionary and outstanding, and at its time, and helped modernize physical geography and create the field of geomorphology. The real world is not quite as orderly as Davis cycle, and certainly erosion occurs during the uplift process, as opposed to the time dependent of Davis. Peng pleaded for time independent series of landforms. According to Peng, a landform development should be interpreted by means of ratios between diastrophic processes and erosional processes. In place of stage, he used the term end-weakling development. In place of youth, maturity, and old stage, he used the terms upstaged and weakening, and abstag and Wikilang. The landscape development begins with the development of primarump, representing an initial featureless broad land surface, and upstage and Wikilang means the phase of waxing rate of development. Development of consequent increase in channel gradient, flow velocity, and kinetic energy results in accelerated rate of downcutting in the valleys where the rate of upliftment far exceeds the rate of valley deepening. Glitch form is Entwicklung means uniform development of landforms. It includes the three phases: steep relief and intensive erosion, peneplain formation, and reduced relief with the maturity old stage. Three stages of Daviesian cycle: youth stage, mature stage, old stage. Gradual obliteration of relief plotted on a graph. So base level, youth, maturity, uplift slope, height of divide summits, maturity and old stage, monadnocks, base level. So it is mainly given by Davis and it is pink. So mainly primarump, height, time, primarump and base level. You can see in the valley floor level divides the summit heights, uplift slopes from first, second, third, fourth, 5 upliftment slopes, base level, Enselberg's and ramp. A graphic representation of Young's geographical cycle. Phase 1 is characterized by still accelerated rate of uplift. Absolute height still increase because of the rate of erosion is less than the rate of upliftment. Maximum altitude is attained but relative relief remains constant. In phase 2, the altitude remains constant due to the matching of upliftment and the lowering of divide summits due to denudation. This phase is thus characterized by constant absolute and relative relief. Phase 3 marks the complete stoppage of upliftments. Absolute relief starts decreasing because of absence of upliftment but continued erosion of summits or divides. Relative relief also remains constant because of rate of lowering of divide summits equal to the rate of valley depending. As abstingency. Entwicklung means warning development of landscape during which the landscape is progressively dominated by the erosional process. Absolute relief decreases remarkably because of total absence of upliftment but continued downwesting. Relative relief is also decreased because of the divide summits are continuously eroded and lowered in height, while down cutting of valley floor decreases remarkably. In the advanced stage of this phase, the gravity slopes of Boschungen are reduced to steep-sided conical residual called Enselberg. Eventually, these are also consumed, resulting in formation and rump. Pink's concept of parallel retreat of slow and continued crustal movements became the most sensitive points of attacks. His concept of long continued upliftment and tectonic speculations could not find any support but The H concept of slope development and weathering process are defined a much geographical significance. Thank you.